So today is the very first test of the inflatable vehicle. So it's just about seeing if the pieces actually fit together and if the electrical system works and if the motors correspond to the control stick input and stuff like that. But I'm quite excited anyway, and I still have some good hopes for this machine. But I really don't expect everything to work. It never does, no matter how much you have thought things through. So I'm anticipating a lecture from from reality, but I'm kind of looking forward to that as well. So I had a little hard time to getting these threaded rods through the holes, so I had to use a tension belt for that, but it worked. And here you can see I needed to reshape the hose here because it was super stiff and slightly over length and bent in an awkward way. But now they're all connected, and I hope that they will retain this shape even once I have disconnected them. So the only thing that's missing right now is the battery, which I today just will have in a frying pan, which is temporary fastened here, and the control handle that will hook up to this connector here. And after that I'm ready for the first inflation test. So here we are. The first thing I noticed was that the front wheels took a longer time to inflate, and that's simply because the hoses going to them are a lot longer than the hoses to the back wheels. So there's a lot of friction, so to speak, a lot of resistance in those long tubes. And so I had to fix that somehow, perhaps adding yet another hose or two to compensate for the increased length from the vacuum cleaner to the wheels, because I'm simply afraid that I might overpressurize the rear wheels and still not have good enough pressure in the front wheels. The idle current right now is 0.9 amps, so that's about 240 watts or so. It works fine. There's my daughter as well, enjoying the adventure. And I can hear a slight hissing noise from up here, but it's only at the very end of the zipper, so I think it's good enough anyway for this first test. Oh, it's magnificent. It's really huge and fascinating. Jag försöker liksom där på sidan. Gött mos är det. Jag ska förlänga det sätet igen. From time to time I'm browsing for inspiration, and the Hacksmith channel and their series of Make It Real, where they take fictional ideas and make them into like engineering projects and make the fiction come alive. It's a great place to be at, and I'm really thinking about making a series of videos with the name Make It Unreal, because it is unreal to see this structure inflate, and the weird thing just keep on coming when you experience that you can lift the structure with these 2-meter diameter wheels, which are 1 meters in width, and it's like a bouncy castle on wheels, and there's a lot of power in there. But don't you just love these first tests? They are always surprising you. So of course I intended to go like back and forth and spin around a little bit, and nothing fancy, but just try out the drivetrain. But that did not happen, did it? And well, the thing is, I did try the inflation system separately in my workshop, and I did try the drivetrain individually, but I did not try them simultaneously. Duh. So it turns out that my little DIY PWM circuit in here does not like to work together with the PWM hack in these cordless drills. So I fried a couple of transistors today, so I'll have to redo that. But there were a lot of things that did work. Just taking it out from my workshop worked. Let's check out the weight of the vehicle. So a all-up weight of 119 kilos is a little bit on the heavy side compared to what I was like dreaming of, but still for a 4-wheel drive humongous inflatable vehicle, it's quite reasonable. And I have not gone to any extremes to make it light. I have chosen materials and dimension of the materials as light as I dare to, but I have not like drill any holes in these stock chain sprockets to make them weigh less. These come in at 2.5 kilos each, so I have 10 kilogram of final reduction sprockets alone, and the covering material that the wheels are made of comes in at a total of 24 kilograms. I think it's a well invested weight, because they need to be like tear and wear resistant, so it's okay, but it's a little bit on the heavy side. When it comes to assembling the vehicle, I have a slight difficulty of connecting the front and the rear axle to the chassis. The electrical wiring inside the tubes were kind of in the way for the threaded rod, so I need to fix the cord in the bottom of the tube so that I do not braid the tube with the threaded rod and short circuit the electrical system. So I'll fix that. But when I started the inflation process, that worked out fine. I had good control as long as I only used my inflation PWM circuit. It worked fine. I could adjust the power, and I choose to inflate the wheels slowly, because this was the very first time, and I did not accidentally want to pop a wheel for some reason or some other unexpected things to happen. So I was inflating them at around 800 watt. And the two combined vacuum cleaners can produce or can consume 2000 watts. So you can have a pretty much elevated speed of inflating the tires. The overall feeling of the structure, you could see that I was pushing around it and lifting it and pushing it sideways. It feels rigid enough. It's supposed to be have a slight flexibility so that in the diagonal, so that you can overcome various obstacles when you're driving it. So it's not supposed to be stiff, but it's of course supposed to be rigid enough so that you can sit on it without tipping over when you're going over uneven ground. And I think it will work fine for that. And I'm also pleasantly surprised with the relatively low power consumption when you are just keeping the tires inflated. I was running at 236 watt or something, and I think that I could have gone lower than that as well and still have a pretty low rolling resistance. Yeah, and that was also interesting to feel the rolling resistance overall when I was pushing and pulling the vehicle. All the electric motors are significantly geared down, but still it was not a lot of work to start rolling the vehicle, so I'm happy with that. And when I finally realized that there wouldn't be any test riding today, I disassembled the structure, and that turned out to go a little bit faster than to assemble it, but I will work out some sort of strategy or technique for assembling it a little bit faster than this time. And of course I have cut the hoses to the right length and shaped them to the right positions and stuff like that, so it will go faster just because of that next time. So unfortunately this is all for now. I have some redesigning to do and I will give it a go again. And again, if you like the content, please consider subscribing, and I will see you next time, hopefully for a successful test drive.